Ladies and gentlemen, I would like us all to welcome to the stage Mr. Kanayo or Kanayo to come and give us opening remarks right here in Zambia.
Good morning, Zambia. I brought my key from Nigeria to unlock. I brought my key from Nigeria. I don't want to come here and be told by Derek or Chuma or the minister that the key you were looking for, I have it in my pocket. It's indeed a great privilege and honor to be the keynote speaker for this Creative Industries Business Summit, Zambia 2025. I feel privileged that in our industry, someone who is an actor of note could be invited by another country to be a keynote speaker. It never happened before now. Maybe because I'm also a lawyer now. Well, I would acknowledge the Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, ably represented by the Minister of Labor and Social Security, and also recognize honorable ministers in their different industries, distinguished guests, creative colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me subsidize the protocols, because I'll falter if I intend to recognize everybody. I hope we all understand the meaning of subsidy here. If I subsidize it, that means everyone is recognized. Many years ago, I stood before a camera for the very first time. We were all guest artists from the Nigerian Television Authority. Before then and after then, not knowing that Nollywood, then just a dream, would one day become a global force. We didn't have access to grants, training, or proper distribution. We only had passion, resilience, and belief in the power of storytelling. Today, that belief has grown into a billion-dollar industry. Yet, I know, you know, we have barely scratched the surface. We're gathered here at the Mlingwishi International Conference Center, not just to discuss potential, but to unlock it. With intention and action. As they say here in Zambia, Bolani Panono Panono. Success comes little by little. I think I got that. I'm a Zambian too. There are factors, and that's why I brought this key, that have locked the potentials. And I'm going to take a little 3-4 minutes to identify these factors before we unlock it. So I still have my keys locked. And what are these factors? Inadequate training. The absence of a commensurate number of training institutions and funding for capacity building has stagnated the growth of this sector. This gap in skill set is obvious both in front and behind the scenes. Number two, weak state institutions. Across the entire continent, most of the state institutions are very weak. These include but not limited to the judiciary and security agencies. These situations discourages much needed investment in the creative sector. Number 3, distribution. The infrastructure for audiovisual across the continent is either very limited or non-existent. Only a few African countries have Cineplex or any form of theatrical exhibition. Only DSTV and its brands have stood the test of time in satellite, TV, and streaming. Number 4, state and stakeholder apathy. African governments most times do not see the economic, social, and political viability of the creative industries beyond propaganda for electoral purposes. And I can tell you more here, because I come from a very rich part of the African continent. As a Nigerian, I can tell you, most people who get into politics want to identify with actors during elections so that you give them the visibility and access for the people who vote to identify with, so that they will say, KOK came with this man, he's a good man, we must vote for him. It can go beyond that. The stakeholders have on their own part been conditioned to see the sector as second class, fit only to depend on government for patronage. Number 5, funding. No business can thrive without adequate funding. The creative industries are no exception. African governments need to increase their funding for the creative sector. Reliance on formal cultural systems, processes and institutions, family and friends for funding. I have been telling my good friend Chama and Derek, Chuba, and so on, and I'm telling the Honorable Minister now. Nollywood was started, and for those of you who are not aware, Nollywood is to Nigeria what Bollywood is to India and what Hollywood is to America. So that's the name of the Nigerian entertainment industry. How we scratch the surface was through a lot of sacrifice. A woman is... You're free to clap. You know, I make sacrifices every day. A mother of the house, like our very dear, beautiful minister, would have a younger brother who is on her neck. Say, Auntie, I want you to sponsor this film for me. Give me small. Then the tall man here, who is the husband of the minister, presumably, gives her monthly allowance. So she pinches a little and gives to that her brother who's on her neck. That's how we built Nollywood, from feeding money. I think that deserves a round of applause. Because we didn't have the banks or the oil industries coming in. So this is one area you have to critically look at. Funding is a major issue. Then we have 6, low disposable income. The general poverty of the continent has resulted in much lower disposable income and lower value of African financial currencies. This makes it very difficult for consumers to patronize our products, since they rank much lower on the scale of preference after food, clothing, and shelter. 7, connectivity. While seemingly unrelated, it's a big problem. There's a very poor connectivity on the continent, physically and technically. Dilapidated rail infrastructure where it exists, exorbitant airfares, high cost of data have conspired to make connectivity across the continent a nightmare. 8, insecurity. Insecurity makes it difficult to access some scenic locations. I don't know where the history or topography of Zambia, but if you tell a lion to write a book, the lion will see it from his perspective. I'm talking as a Nigerian. We have insecurity issues. So I speak from where I'm coming from. I don't know what it is in Zambia, but insecurity is a major issue. Even in urban areas, the menace of social miscreants, like we have in Lagos, our Laye boys, our area boys, remain a significant threat. Some areas of some countries are controlled by non-state actors, Al-Shabaab and so on. You can't go to their areas to film and are completely inaccessible. More significantly, the perception of insecurity poses a major obstacle to the free flow of investments into the sector. Intellectual property infringement. And this is the last factor of what is inhibiting the creativity or the creatives in the sector. Prevalent intellectual property infringement include, but is not limited to, illegal broadcasting, illegal streaming, and downloading, counterfeiting. This has impacted very negatively on the industry by making it more difficult for producers to recoup their investments and discourage investments. Now, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellencies, let us unlock. If we must unlock the abundant potentials of the African creative economy, and that of Zambia in particular, we must take a critical consideration of the following. Please follow me. Number one, data and asset mapping. Data and asset mapping. The first step. You cannot manage what you do not measure. We must begin with data. A, what is the creative sector's contribution to GDP? Who are the players? That's B. C, what inhibits their growth? Without comprehensive data and asset mapping, we are planning blindfolded. It's like winking in the dark. Only you know what you're doing. If you're chasing a girl in the dark and you're winking, only you know what you're doing. The girl is not seeing you. Information is the bedrock of transformation. Number two, as we unlock, business support and formalization. Africa's creative economy is vibrant, but largely informal. This informality limits access to finance, structure, and scalability. Formalization means training entrepreneurs, teaching financial discipline, encouraging proper company structuring, and supporting small and medium enterprises to grow with professionalism. Number three, funding and investment incentives. Creative talent without capital is a spark without fuel. Creative talent without capital is a spark without fuel. Governments must scale up investment, not just in production, but in the entire value chain: marketing, media, talent, development, and technology. Beyond public funding, let's incentivize private sector investment through tax rebates, soft loans, and production grants. True growth happens when public policy meets private energy. Number four, protecting intellectual property. Piracy has no other name it is theft. Plain and simple. It has robbed creatives across the continent of their livelihood. I'm a living testimony of what piracy can do to a generation, can do to a people, can do to a country. 3 things must happen. A, strengthen and enforce copyright legislation. B, equip regulators with resources and technology. C, enlighten creators on protecting and monetizing their work legally and smartly. Here, it calls to question as an exemplary the 2022 Nigerian Copyright Act and global treaties like the Beijing Treaty on Audiovisual Performance. These are steps in the right direction. But laws must work, not just sit. Number 5, international cooperation and co-production. This is very interesting. Zambia must do this. International cooperation and co-production. Africa must not cooperate in isolation. Through co-production treaties and regional frameworks, we can open doors for global cooperation and collaboration. Let me briefly explain 2 key instruments here. The African Continental Free Trade Area is the world's largest free trade area by number of countries. It aims to boost intra-African trade by removing tariffs and trade barriers, including that of the creative sector. B, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, in the United States is a US law that allows eligible African countries to export products, including cultural and creative goods, duty-free to the United States. These agreements are passports for our stories to cross borders. South Africa has treaties with over 7 countries. Nigeria has treaties with the United Kingdom and France, and is engaging Brazil and India. Zambia, let us push for more across the continent. Doing business with Zambia and its creative economy shouldn't be an issue. We need to be Africans to the core. Number 6, distribution is the critical bottleneck. It's been a bottleneck for us in Nigeria. I don't know what it is here, but you need to consider distribution very well. It is difficult to make a film, very difficult. Even harder to distribute it. Hardest still to profit from it. Without robust distribution infrastructure, cinemas, OTT, platforms, mobile networks, creatives cannot recoup their investments. OTT stands for over-the-top platforms. And when we talk about OTT, we're talking about digital streaming services like Netflix, YouTube, Showmax, Amazon, Prime, and Iroko TV that deliver content directly over the internet. Governments must support, but the private sector must lead. A functioning distribution ecosystem is the heartbeat of a sustainable creative economy. Number 7 or number 8, capacity building and professionalism. We must train consistently and comprehensively, from camera operators to costume designers, producers to sound engineers. Guilds and associations, like I belong to the Actors Guild of Nigeria, I'm a strong pillar in that, are vital. They standardize, protect, and empower. Let's invest in human capital with the same urgency we pursue hardware and production grants. Number 8, regulation and governance. Every healthy industry is guided by smart regulation. In Nigeria, we have bodies like the National Film and Video Censors Board, the National Copyright Commission, and the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission. But we must streamline, not stifle. Regulation should protect and promote, not choke innovation. Creative professionals must also participate in self-regulation through councils and unions. Number 9, Africanity and cultural branding. To compete globally, we must think locally. To compete globally, we must think locally. Zambia first. And that's why everywhere I go, thank you. That's why everywhere I go, I tell you the selling point for me on the success of Nollywood is because we told our own story in our own language to our own people, whether in the diaspora or in Nigeria. This guy standing before you, I'm a bloody African, I have an accent. That accent is Igbo, is in Nigeria. I will never speak like an American. I don't look like one. I'm a proud nigger, African. If you stand me side by side with Denzel Washington, the talent is what everybody checks during audition. My accent is my accent. You're not going to force me to speak like him. I speak like an African because I'm an African, a proud one at that. So, to compete globally, we must think locally. Let our films, music, fashion, and stories carry African identity in language, themes, and aesthetics. Subtitles are good, but so is hearing your mother tongue on screen. If I was from the UNDP man's place and he hears my dialect, he will come to me and say, KOK, do you know we're from the same region? It's a sense of pride. Especially if you leave Zambia and you are in New York. You see somebody speaking Bemba or Zambian dialect, you feel proud. Make it in films and feel more proud. So, from Pidgin to Zulu, Hausa to Bemba, let our identity shine through. As they say in Bemba, Wana, Ashenda, Atasha, Nina, Ukwanya. A child who does not travel thinks only their mother knows how to cook. Let us export our stories because the world is hungry for our flavors. Number 10, protectionism, creating breathing space. Even mature economies protect their industries. China, Korea, Vietnam place quotas on foreign content to grow local industries. Africa must do the same. We must not be a dumping ground. Smartly and temporarily, let us protect to grow, not isolate to regress. Number 11, balance between commerce and culture. We want our creative products to sell, but not to sell out. Let us tell stories that are entertaining, profitable, and value-driven, that reflect who we are and who we aspire to become. We can be both marketable and meaningful. The world needs both. Now, this is the last one. That's number 12. Because Jesus Christ was successful with 12 apostles. So I made sure I brought 12 unlocking devices. This is the 12th. I have not released this in Nigeria, but I'll release it here. For the love of Zambia. It's what you know already, but you've not paid attention. And number 12 is called platform economy. Anybody heard it here? No, don't raise. I know you're international. Anybody heard about the platform economy? Zambia needs it. It needs to exploit it. The world today is going towards platform economy. Countries and organizations building platforms for other players to come, plug, and play. Number one of what is called the platform economy, Uber. Uber is a platform economy with a market capitalization of $50 billion within the first 2 years of its establishment. Today, Uber was over $175 billion. What the two young founders did was to create a technology platform through which taxi owners and taxi users can connect. Where have you gone before? You say, that's an Uber office. It's a platform economy. Zambia, you can create one that can operate from your country. Number two, Netflix. Netflix is a platform economy in the creative sector with a market capitalization in excess of $500 billion. Netflix connects movies, movie lovers and movies content on a single platform. Number three, there are more, but I'm going to just shorten it. Dubai, the country we go to with our girlfriends and wives, is a platform economy. It's a plug and play economy where investors worldwide, buyers, do meet in a comfortable and secure environment. For African countries looking for breakthrough, they should focus on how to create different, unique platforms to boost the economy. Conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellencies, our moment is now. This is not just a creative moment. It is an economic and cultural movement. Let us unlock the full potential of Africa's creative economy with purpose, partnership, and pride. Let this be the generation that no longer begs for space on the world stage, but builds its own, owns its own, and exports it with pride. The world is watching. Zambia, please rise and shine. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So Kanayo, Kanayo, we have witnessed the unlocking. It has begun, and we're expecting Zambia to go even much further as well.
Thank you.
Guest of honor, we've been told about